Let's talk about Squid Boy and how his death would change the Juggernaut from a villain to an ally of the X-Men. Sammy Luke Paré was a kid living in Vancouver, Canada, whose mutant power gave him the appearance of a fish and allowed him to breathe underwater. Because of his appearance, Sammy was bullied relentlessly by the neighborhood kids. They would beat him up, they would spit on him, they would make fun of him. Sammy says that he felt like a loser, that he hated his mutant powers, and he wished he had one of the brain powers, the ability to melt his enemies' skulls or to set fire to their eyes. But Sammy doesn't have brain powers. He's not even good at math. According to Sammy, he's just a turd. As Sammy gets home, he's going to want to go play at the field next to his house, but his mom tells him not to be late because they have a special guest coming. Now, I can't show the page, but Sammy had gotten so depressed and so tired of all the constant bullying that he acquired a firearm, and he was planning on ending his own life. The only question was whether he was going to go alone or take other people with him. But everything would change when Professor X arrives and asks Sammy if he wants to come with him to the mansion, and overjoyed, Sammy accepts. Now at the same time, Professor X had sent the X-Men team to Scotland to investigate an SOS. Now the X-Men's jet is going to crash on the way to Scotland, and because Juggernaut is there, they're going to assume that he's the one that made them crash. As it turns out, Juggernaut was the one that sent out the SOS because Black Tom Cassidy had gone out of control and he needs their help to stop him. But before they can do anything, Black Tom is going to attack Juggernaut and the X-Men, easily subduing them. Although they would end up defeating Black Tom, Juggernaut would get severely injured in the battle and he would go recover at Xavier's mansion. Now, Sammy and Cain ended up becoming really close friends. You would always see them at Xavier's mansion just playing catch and hanging around. And it's actually because of their similar pasts. Cain was bullied and beaten by his father, and Sammy was beaten by the neighborhood kids, that they actually developed such a deep friendship. And it was because of Cain's friendship with Sammy that he got so comfortable living at the X-Mansion. He would even go on occasional missions with the X-Men, and he would even ask Xavier if he could teach a class, maybe gym, and he actually wanted to be an official X-Men. One day though, Sammy's mom would discover that her son was hanging out with a known felon, so she would call Alpha Flight as a way to bring him home. Juggernaut would end up battling Alpha Flight as a way to protect Sammy and keep him from having to leave, but eventually Sammy would agree to go with them. He said that Juggernaut was a good guy. He didn't have to fight Alpha Flight for his sake. Now, eventually Sammy does return to Xavier's mansion, and at this time, Juggernaut is an official member of the X-Men. That is until Black Tom decides to approach Juggernaut, saying that he's going to create his own brotherhood of evil mutants. Juggernaut is going to agree to join, thinking that he can actually be a double agent, spying on the Brotherhood for the mutants. But there's a problem. Sammy had followed Juggernaut into the woods and heard everything that the Brotherhood was planning, and he incorrectly assumed that Juggernaut had turned evil again. This would break Sammy, and he would call Juggernaut a miserable, stinking pile of garbage. And Juggernaut just had to stand there and take it because he couldn't let his cover be blown. Sammy's gonna begin berating Juggernaut, saying, "I can't believe I ever bought into your act. What an idiot I was. You must have been laughing yourself sick." And the entire time, Juggernaut's gonna try to explain, saying, "No, you weren't supposed to be here. You don't understand." Juggernaut's gonna try to tell Sammy to get out of here, but Black Tom is gonna come up behind him, saying, "I know I was laughing myself hysterically, boy. Watching you all this time, playing catch, talking about girls. It was also brilliantly domestic." Sammy's gonna spit on Cain, saying, "You disgust me. And to think I ever thought I could be somebody like you. A bad guy. Someone who could hurt other people and feel good about it." Sammy says, "Well, I'm not. I'm a good guy. I believe in Xavier's dream. I'm a hero." And hearing this is going to completely break Marco because he's currently doing everything he can to be a good guy. Sammy says, "I'm an X-Man and you're not getting past me." But Black Tom says, "Oh please," and his vines wrap around Sammy's body, contorting it in horrible ways. Sammy's body is going to twist and snap and crack, and the entire time Juggernaut is watching, screaming, "Tom, no, stop." As the final crack of Sammy's body happens, Juggernaut's going to start tearing the vines away from him, and Sammy's going to say, "Don't touch me. I hate you. Leave me alone. Get away from me." And Juggernaut's going to be pleading, "Please, You don't understand. Listen to me, Sammy. I was doing this for you. In his last breaths, Sammy's gonna say, "Put me down, Cain. I hate you. I don't want you touching me." And as he passes away, Juggernaut's just gonna scream, "No." And in a fit of rage, he's gonna attack Black Tom, ripping his body to pieces. This moment would greatly affect Cain's life. This was the moment where he started to have a deeper appreciation for life and the actions that he was taking. But he still always lived with a sense of regret that one of his best friends died hating him. That is, until the Krakoa era. And we see that the one request that Juggernaut made when he went to live on Krakoa was he wanted to make amends. And after years of living with regret, Cain Marco, the Juggernaut, is finally reunited with his best friend, and he's finally able to apologize. And that's the death of Squid Boy and how it changed Marco's life forever. There was a lot of chapters involved in the story. I mean, Squid Boy was around for a good couple of years before he ended up dying, and him and Marco got extremely close. Anytime that Squid Boy was in the chapter, you bet Juggernaut was right there beside him. They were always hanging out, they were always playing catch, and they actually got extremely close. So his death really affected the Juggernaut. But let me know in the comments, what did y'all think about the story of Squid Boy? And if you like this video, follow if you want to see more.